and welcome to India First, your weekly window to defense, strategic and foreign policy. I am Nitin Gokhale. The secret trial and sudden sentencing of former Indian naval officer Kulbhushan Jadhav by the Pakistani army has suddenly plunged the already strained India-Pakistan ties into further abyss. Now, what does that foretell? How are we going to look at Pakistan in the coming months, and what are the issues that will determine how India and Pakistan will talk to each other or not talk to each other, and what is the fallout going to be of the sentencing and of this episode itself? To discuss the ramifications, we have with us Mr. Jaydev Ranade, former government official and somebody who's looked at the world of espionage from close quarters. To my immediate left, and to my extreme left, Harsh Pant, a strategic affairs analyst with the King's College, now also with the Observer Research Foundation. If I can turn to you, Mr. Ranade, Kulbhushan Jadhav, known to be a former Indian naval officer, and suddenly he was in custody of the Pakistani authorities, and suddenly they go and announce a death sentence for him after a whatever speedy trial. Why do you think the Pakistanis have done this at this time?
Well, it's obviously a deliberate move because something that has been in process, they have brought it out into the public domain and put the spotlight on it. So I think what they are pushing for is to put India in a situation where it has to come and talk to Pakistan. And talk means not just on Kulbhushan Jadhav, but on Siachen, on Sir Creek, etc. So they want to go back to the old
comprehensive dialogue.
Yeah. And in that they have an interest, so they'll keep the Jadhav case as one more.
Right.
And I think that's what they'll try.
Right.
Obviously, if we go in for either that or if we go in for any kind of discussion, they will make it expensive for us because they'll know that we are trying to get do anything to get Jadhav back.
Yes.
Second thing, I think, is linked with the China-Pakistan economic corridor, where they are under a lot of pressure from the Baluchis. There are others saying that the China-Pakistan economic corridor is not distributing the benefits equally.
Sure.
The Chinese are pressuring them for enhancing security because of what is going on in that region, particularly to an area of their specific interest, which is Gwadar.
Yeah.
And here I might just mention that one of the retired ambassadors, Khokar, he had written just days before Xi Jinping's arrival in Islamabad in April 2015, when he announced the China-Pakistan economic corridor, that Pakistan and China must work together to expose or bring out India's activities in Balochistan. Now, you and I know there were no activities,
Sure.
certainly not at that point in time or even now, but that's what they tried, he has tried to do. I think this is also part of that.
Okay.
It suits the interests of both Pakistan and China.
And therefore, the kind of sudden move to do this, but we will talk about what other interests China can have. Harsh, if I can turn to you, where do you see, as it is, the tries were not very good, that is putting it mildly. Where do you see the relationship going from here?
I think, as Mr. Ranade pointed out, I think Pakistanis do want a resumption of this dialogue, partly because I think Indian diplomacy has been successful, in isolating Pakistan globally. So I think there's real pressure now to somehow make a case that India is equally at fault. So you bring out Balochistan and make a case. Look, they are sponsoring terrorists. They're there, and again today there are reports that they have 3 more. Have been arrested. 3 more Indians have been arrested.
Right.
So I think that's their strategy of putting pressure on India to come to the negotiating table. I think that perhaps it would be appropriate for India to take a step back and not allow the heat of the moment and to frame our policy response. We should respond at a time and place of our own choosing, rather than coming under pressure because Pakistan is creating such a big hullabaloo about this. And I think they have realized that they can put pressure through the Indian public on the Indian
I think
government.
this is an interesting point, that they may want to do a repeat of what happened in Kandahar. But there's one difference, of course, that this is an individual involved here. Certainly important for the Indian public opinion to be sort of on the government side. But I think, is it prudent? I mean, should it be the government's policy that this episode should be isolated from the overall relationship and just concentrate on this episode, and to try and get him back on whatever means, bargain or put pressure from others, or all kinds of things that they can do. Is that the case? It should be like what Harsh said.
Yes, I think when it's national interest, we have to look at a much broader canvas, a larger canvas. And unfortunately, Jadhav is one factor and only one factor.
Right.
So I think we have to keep our larger interests in mind. And while I think the statements in Parliament are very clear that we'll do everything to get him released and bring him back, we have a 40-day window in any case when we can assemble a legal team and try and go for it. But we should not give in to
succumb
Pakistan.
to any pressure.
And I can add one more thing. I don't know how many people will agree. But let's not forget the fact that Jadhav was abducted from Iran.
Exactly.
And somehow we don't seem to highlight that. And we have Indian nationals working in other places also. So what is the guarantee that that will not happen
tomorrow?
To them?
It will from even Afghanistan they can kidnap.
Afghanistan, Kathmandu, Nepal, UAE, wherever. So we have to also keep that in mind and see to it that Pakistan doesn't feel it can get away.
Sure. That is important, extremely important. In fact, one more thing which comes to mind, and I don't know whether that can be linked at all. On the one side is the Pakistani government's desire to resume the talks. But on the other, there is also this fact that Nawaz Sharif, as Prime Minister, has got weakened over the last year or so because of Panama Papers and corruption charges and all that. And therefore, the Pakistani army and the new chief, the new Pakistani army chief, is trying to send him a message that if you resume talks, which I think he would want to, then we will do this. Is that a valid theory?
Well, I don't know. That presupposes that Nawaz Sharif and the civilian government were unaware of what's happening. It's a bit difficult to buy that argument. At least I am very hesitant to separate the army and the civilian government. As far as India is concerned, I think at least at some level their policy is there. But what I would say is that General Bajwa, the new chief, there was a lot of assessments when he was appointed that he is a more balanced individual, he will take a different approach towards India, etc., and not follow Rahil Sharif's line. I think that may have put him on the back foot, and so therefore
so he wants to prove himself.
He wants to prove himself, and I don't think he has to resort to this to tell Nawaz Sharif how far Nawaz Sharif can go.
Yeah, so I think that we can rule out clearly. But at this point in time, I need to take a quick break, but we'll come back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching India First.
किसान भाइयों गांठ बांध लो, बात बहुत है काम की, समृद्धि के पैगाम की। मिट्टी की तुम जांच कराओ, मुफ्त सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड ले जाओ, कभी मुनासिब बीज लगाओ, सही किस्म की खाद ले आओ, जितनी जरूरी उतनी डालो, सही मात्रा खुद पहचानो। किसान भाइयों गांठ बांध लो,
आज ही मिट्टी की जांच कराएं, राज्य सरकार के कृषि अधिकारी से संपर्क करें और मुफ्त में सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड पाएं। कृषि और किसान कल्याण मंत्रालय द्वारा किसान हित में जारी।
मैं ये नहीं पूछूंगा कि आप शौच के लिए कहां गए, मैं ये भी नहीं पूछूंगा कि अगर आप खुले में शौच के लिए गए तो क्या आपने अपने बच्चे की जान को खतरे में डाला? क्या आपके गांव की बच्चियों को खुले में शौच करते हुए किसी ने बुरी नजर से देखा? आप खुद समझदार हैं, सक्षम हैं। आप ये तो जानते ही होंगे कि हमारे देश में 70,000 से ज्यादा गांवों के लोगों ने खुले में शौच की प्रथा को खत्म कर दिया है। गांव के बच्चे, महिला, पुरुष सब इस लक्ष्य में जुटे। निगरानी समितियां बनी जिन्होंने खुले में शौच कर रहे लोगों को समझाया, शौचालय बनाया, उनका इस्तेमाल करना सिखाया। क्या आपका गांव भी बनेगा खुले में शौच से मुक्त? आइए स्वच्छ भारत अभियान से जुड़िए, अब नहीं तो कब।
मुझे मिला, मुझे मिला,
मुझे भी मिला,
और मुझे भी।
अल्पसंख्यक कार्य मंत्रालय की इस योजना में छोटे कारोबारियों के लिए है टर्म लोन यानी मियादी कर्ज, जिसमें 10 लाख तक की मदद का प्रावधान है। एनजीओ से जुड़ी अल्पसंख्यक महिलाओं के लिए है माइक्रो फाइनेंस स्कीम यानी लघु वित्त योजना, जिसमें है 50,000 तक का कर्ज। इसके अलावा माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए है एजुकेशन लोन स्कीम, जिसमें है प्रोफेशनल और टेक्निकल एजुकेशन के लिए बहुत ही कम ब्याज दरों पर लोन। तो आप भी NMDFC की कर्ज स्कीम से लाभ उठाएं।
हुनर को हौसला।
प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना ने हम गांव वालों के लिए तरक्की के रास्ते खोल दिए।
सड़क के गड्ढों की फोटो खींच रहे हो? कोई खास बात है क्या?
अरे काका, मेरे मोबाइल फोन में मेरी सड़क ऐप है, जिससे प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क से जुड़ी कोई भी जानकारी सरकार तक भेजी जा सकती है। सड़क से जुड़े सुझाव या शिकायत पर सरकार वाजिब कार्यवाही करती है।
प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क से जुड़ी कोई भी बात, मेरी सड़क एंड्रॉइड ऐप अब हर पल मेरे साथ।
Welcome back. Harsh, we were talking about Nawaz Sharif's position. You watch the neighborhood quite a bit, and over the last 6-8 months, India has managed to isolate Pakistan in the region itself. SAARC summit was cancelled or boycotted. On the Afghanistan front, they failed to sort of keep Afghanistan in their fold, despite a good beginning. How do you see the dynamic in South Asia also playing out in this kind of a situation?
See, I think that, we have been very successful. New Delhi has been very successful in making a case to our South Asian neighbors as well as to the world at large that look, this is a rogue state.
Right.
So I think they have once again proved that they are a rogue state. And for India to then think about a dialogue, as you were discussing in the previous session,
yes.
in the previous section, it's very difficult to comprehend, who to talk to.
Sure.
So if you have a situation where, as your theory was suggesting, that army somehow disinclined to pursue the path that perhaps Nawaz Sharif might want to, and I think that in fact puts India, makes India's case stronger. That look, even if we are interested in
we
talking,
don't know who to talk
exactly, and then the consequences because of the internal factionalism might be such severe
That's
that they are willing to play that game against a very uncivilized game against their neighbor.
Yes.
So I think that complicates India's options and also perhaps puts Pakistan on the dock once again.
That's
that
right.
look, here is a very, very uncivilized state that does not take its cue from the norms of international relations. Rather it goes wherever the domestic calculus might take it in terms of its civil military ties and
So it could be a self-goal.
I think at some point when India can make a case very effectively to the world,
That's
that look, we have been saying something and now they've proven it once again.
Exactly. So that is that. But what people are also interested, the general viewer, is the game of espionage and how it operates. This whole theory about Kulbhushan Jadhav being on the payroll of the RANW, I would want you to tell them how laughable it is, because he had Indian passport, he was assuming, he went in his own name. It doesn't work that way, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
First and foremost, he was an ex-naval officer.
That's
and he had started a small business by all accounts, trying to make a living for himself. And
Sure.
he was operating in Chabahar.
Yeah.
So why should Indian intelligence agency be interested in that? After all, India is in any case involved in Chabahar for doing operations.
Yeah.
Secondly, if, as the Pakistanis say, he is involved in activities in Baluchistan, it doesn't make sense for him to go from Iran into Baluchistan carrying an Indian passport. He's asking for exposure and asking to be.
That's right.
So I think it's extremely laughable, and I think no intelligence agency in the world will accept that he has been sent. My suspicion is in fact that the Pakistanis have been planted on passports have been planted on him by the Pakistanis.
That's right.
Because they have the access, they can do it.
Yes.
People point to the fact that the passport was renewed. It can be renewed. If you've been able to get the passport illegally, you can certainly get it renewed
illegally also.
And if you look at these various people operating here, the terrorists or the terrorist modules which we have busted in the past, often they have been found with Indian documentation, including passports, which have been obtained through illegal channels.
Yes.
So I don't think it's such a great deal. It certainly doesn't point to his being involved here.
Exactly.
And I think a person of his age, etc., I sincerely very much doubt that he is working for
Indian
our
intelligence
agencies.
agencies,
There seems to be no need. And if in fact we look at the charges put on him by the Pakistanis, the article under which they have charged him doesn't require any evidence. So if there was evidence, then they should have done it in a different way.
So I think it's a sham trial in any case. Excuse me. So going back to politics, of international politics, Pakistan, I think, is in a kind of a tight corner because one, of course, India does not talk to it. Second, they are not sure how Trump administration is going to behave. And their attempts to only depend on China may not be really be beneficial or bearing fruit. So where do the Pakistani government go from here? I mean, what do you see? What should they be doing actually to come back, make a comeback into international arena?
Well, I think they have been desperately hoping that somehow Chinese largesse would make them a very creditable option for other actors around the world. And I think the hype that CPEC has generated, and they have been generating it themselves for a while, saying that this is a big opportunity of investment, and Chinese are relying on them now to make its OBOR Belt and Road Initiative successful. So I think they have been trying to sell themselves as a partner. They have not been very successful because partly because I think earlier it was mentioned how problematic the whole project is and CPEC has become for them for all sorts of reasons. But I think also at this point we really don't know what Mr. Trump might do. You know, the way in which he has been operating from Syria to Afghanistan, I think it really puts Pakistan in the dock, because if you think of the larger foreign policy matrix for America, it is very clear that after North Korea, Pakistan is the big rogue state. So I think in that sense, I think it's a perfect time for them, therefore, to come out and say that, look, we are also in the game. Look at us, put pressure on India for talks, and I think that's what they are trying to do with this initiative.
So I think in the final segment we'll discuss some more about what options Pakistan has. But at the moment, again, we will quickly go into a break and come back very soon.
ये लो और बताओ बस। अरे ये क्या भैया जी, बस इतनी सी रासायनिक खाद? किसानी छोड़ रहे हो क्या?
किसानी नहीं, नादानी छोड़ रहे हैं। मिट्टी की जांच कराई है। अब तो लाला जी जितनी जरूरत है उतने ही उर्वरक खेत में डालेंगे। हाँ,
किसान भाई आज ही अपने जिले की नजदीकी भूमि परीक्षण प्रयोगशाला में मिट्टी की जांच जरूर करवाएं और मिट्टी में पोषक तत्व, नमी व पौधे के विकास को देखते हुए केवल जरूरत के अनुसार ही पोषक तत्व डालें। और हाँ, मिट्टी में गंधक, जस्ता, बोरोन जैसे सूक्ष्म पोषक तत्वों का पता लगाना भी न भूलें।
उर्वरक और जैविक खाद के सही उपयोग से भूमि का उपजाऊपन बनाए रखें, उत्पादकता बढ़ाएं, खर्चा घटाएं और बहुमूल्य विदेशी मुद्रा बचाने में भी सहयोग दें।
और हाँ, धीमी गति से नाइट्रोजन उपलब्ध कराने वाले उर्वरकों जैसे नीम लेपित यूरिया को प्राथमिकता दें और यूरिया का पत्तों पर छिड़काव करें।
अरे वाह, तू तो सचमुच समझदार हो गया रे।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए संपर्क करें जिला कृषि अधिकारी या किसान कॉल सेंटर।
12वीं में मुझे 60% मार्क्स मिले हैं। BA करने के बजाय मेडिकल में जाना चाहता हूँ।
हम स्टूडेंट्स को जिनकी पारिवारिक आय 2.5 लाख से कम है, उन्हें प्रोफेशनल और टेक्निकल कोर्सेज में आगे की पढ़ाई के लिए ये स्कॉलरशिप दी जा रही है।
एक मजे की बात, हम गर्ल्स स्टूडेंट्स के लिए 30% स्कॉलरशिप अलग से निर्धारित है।
फ्रेंड्स जल्दी करो, फॉर्म्स ऑनलाइन जमा हो रहे हैं।
मेरिट का मेन स्कॉलरशिप भारत सरकार की ओर से सभी अल्पसंख्यक स्टूडेंट्स को एक तोहफा उनके सुंदर भविष्य के लिए।
मदद हमारी, मंजिल आपकी।
प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना ने हम गांव वालों के लिए तरक्की के रास्ते खोल दिए।
सड़क के गड्ढों की फोटो खींच रहे हो, कोई खास बात है क्या?
अरे काका, मेरे मोबाइल फोन में मेरी सड़क ऐप है, जिससे प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क से जुड़ी कोई भी जानकारी सरकार तक भेजी जा सकती है। सड़क से जुड़े सुझाव या शिकायत पर सरकार वाजिब कार्यवाही करती है।
प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क से जुड़ी कोई भी बात, मेरी सड़क एंड्रॉइड ऐप अब हर पल मेरे साथ।
ये लो और बताओ बस। अरे ये क्या भैया जी, बस इतनी सी रासायनिक खाद? किसानी छोड़ रहे हो क्या?
किसानी नहीं, नादानी छोड़ रहे हैं। मिट्टी की जांच कराई है। अब तो लाला जी जितनी जरूरत है उतने ही उर्वरक खेत में डालेंगे। हाँ,
किसान भाई आज ही अपने जिले की नजदीकी भूमि परीक्षण प्रयोगशाला में मिट्टी की जांच जरूर करवाएं और मिट्टी में पोषक तत्व, नमी व पौधे के विकास को देखते हुए केवल जरूरत के अनुसार ही पोषक तत्व डालें। और हाँ, मिट्टी में गंधक, जस्ता, बोरोन जैसे सूक्ष्म पोषक तत्वों का पता लगाना भी न भूलें।
उर्वरक और जैविक खाद के सही उपयोग से भूमि का उपजाऊपन बनाए रखें, उत्पादकता बढ़ाएं, खर्चा घटाएं और बहुमूल्य विदेशी मुद्रा बचाने में भी सहयोग दें।
और हाँ, धीमी गति से नाइट्रोजन उपलब्ध कराने वाले उर्वरकों जैसे नीम लेपित यूरिया को प्राथमिकता दें और यूरिया का पत्तों पर छिड़काव करें।
अरे वाह, तू तो सचमुच समझदार हो गया रे।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए संपर्क करें जिला कृषि अधिकारी या किसान कॉल सेंटर।
Welcome back. You're watching India First, your weekly window to foreign affairs, defense and strategic affairs. Discussing about the way forward for Kulbhushan Jadhav. I mean, how does India respond? What options does India have to rescue him or to get him back? legally or otherwise?
Well, our options are limited, to put it very frankly. We will, of course, appeal, I'm sure. We will also try and make approaches to the president to try and see what can be done, clemency through again, legal channels.
Sure.
I think what we need to do is bring home to other capitals which have influence on Pakistan, like the Saudis, like others, that Pakistan has not even followed the basic norms of civilized behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, at the least, regardless of what this man is accused of, he should have been, our consular access should have been granted.
Correct.
So that we could see whether he is really that same man or not. I mean, even that has not been done.
Exactly.
And whether he's been harmed or not been harmed, tortured, etc., that's been denied.
That's right.
Second, the individual has been denied an opportunity to actually state his case, whatever it may be. It's been a closed door court-martial where he's arrested. Within a week he's given his confession and then the sentence. So I think that needs to be done. And this must be brought out. The third thing I think, and I'll just take up from what Harsh was saying just now. I mean, he didn't specifically mention this, but there is a third factor. There were stories going around that the Taliban had a role in being kidnapped. Whether that's been denied or not, I don't know.
Yes.
But if it is true, and there's no reason why it should not be considered as plausible, then it indicates that there is a third element now at play in Pakistan, which is these extremist religious groups.
Correct.
Hafiz Saeed, you remember last year, I think it was May or June, he had warned Nawaz Sharif's government about how the Chinese were treating Muslims in Xinjiang during the month of Ramzan.
Correct.
And the Pakistanis sent a Religious Affairs Bureau after that to check out. So this indicates that it's not just, as you were saying, army and the civil. These
could be the
guys
third
are also involved.
Could be the
so
third
it's
factor.
becoming a mix, which is not very comfortable for people in this region. And as far as Trump is concerned, I think this must be brought home to him. He seems to be very clear on his policy towards terrorists and extremists. So, I think Pakistan might have bitten off more than it can chew in the long term.
In the long term, yes. In fact, that brings the Trump's action in Afghanistan, the so-called massive air blast bomb, or mother of all bombs as the people are calling it. That itself must have put a little bit of a fear in the Pakistani, if not the establishment, at least the terrorist groups there who are operating on the border. What's your view?
Yes, I see. I think whenever a new administration comes in and when they start, feeling the space around them in their foreign policy options, it puts pressure on various sides. And I think Trump's signaling is not simply what he's doing in Syria or what he's doing in Afghanistan. He's signaling to a larger group of countries around the world, including Russia, including China, including Pakistan. That there are options that Americans have which will constrain the other side's options. And I think in this case, certainly, Pakistan is one country that should be feeling that pinch, because I think we should remember that they are feeling the pressure from various sides. You have one side, that the CPEC, there's the big
success. Somehow they want to make it a success.
And it's not working. The reality on the ground is very different.
Correct.
They are under pressure, and I think the only way they can get out of this isolation is by bringing India into the mix. So I think this and I would say that I think certain statements from American officials, Nikki Haley, for example, in the UN, some muddled thinking on South Asia, which the Trump administration has demonstrated. Maybe that encouraged Pakistan to say that, look, this might be the time that we might do something dramatic, and they will bring pressure on India for negotiations. So I think this is a wider matrix that India needs to be aware of when making decisions going forward.
And wait and watch, perhaps, not get into the thing. One final thought from you before we wrap up. Will that statement from the Iranian ambassador, who was the former Iranian ambassador to Pakistan, and also the German ambassador, talking about Kulbhushan Jadhav being, sort of abducted by either the Taliban and sold to Pakistanis, should India be looking at also trying to see whether they can make some statements and sort of put pressure internationally?
Certainly. The German, incidentally, has withdrawn his statement. He retracted.
Right.
In any case, that was some time ago.
Yes.
But the Iranian hasn't. And I think the Iranian authorities should be requested to help in, providing more information about the abduction, what happened.
Right.
Because this is really, it's a case which even on the surface just doesn't fit. I mean, abducting a man and then trying him, and then the other stories coming up. So obviously there are some leaks somewhere which have caused it. But I think we do need to bring them into the picture and try and get their cooperation.
Yeah, but there was the other suggestion which has come up in certain sections of the Indian media, and of course Pakistani media is alleging that that Pakistani officer who went missing in Nepal, ex-army man, and India is abducted for a give and take. How plausible is that?
Well, the way the scenario has been painted, and that's based, mind you, on his son's FIR, so-called. So it's a Pakistani scenario.
Correct.
It's almost like Robert Ludlum, that he was, asked to come in, and then there was a...
He was lured into a job. Yeah.
Now, the basic fact is, if anyone has been to Lumini, Lumini is a small little town. There's no business opportunity there. Why should this man go there for looking for a job?
That's right.
Secondly, what was he doing in Lumini? Lumini is essentially a place where Buddhists go, Buddhists hang out. So it makes no sense, as far as I know, for this man. And I don't think there is a quid pro quo.
Correct.
And I don't think, in fact, that he was kidnapped.
Right.
Even if he has been, I wouldn't know, but I doubt it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if it was not so serious, this would, and it's a tragedy in a way that a former Indian naval officer has got into this tangle. How India responds to this situation and how coolly India plays its cards and not get entangled into or rush into any kind of discussions with Pakistan without looking at the long-term impact is going to be the key as we go forward. But at the moment, we are completely out of time. All that remains for me is to say thank you to both my panelists for their insights. We will see you again, same time, same day. Till then, goodbye and good night.